guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, my name's Courtney. Hi, nice to meet you. And if you're already here, well, you already know who I am. So the other day when I made my calming jar video, I forgot to talk to you guys a little bit about like my mental health and like my mental health diagnosis and stuff like that. So I'm 22 right now. And I started noticing signs now that I understand like what anxiety is and like the signs and symptoms and stuff. I had anxiety ever since I was very, very young, probably 4 or 5 years old. It started with mainly separation anxiety. Like if I was away from my mom or my dad, specifically my mom, I would like go ballistic. There was a lot of times where I couldn't stay over to sleepovers all like throughout the whole night. I would be fine when I got there until like the other person went to sleep, and then I would start to panic. I don't know why. I had a very hard time sleeping in my own bed when I was younger. I would be completely honest, there was a lot of nights that I would go out to sleep with my mom even when I was still like 13 or 14, because I would have like wake up in these big like panic spurts, and I was afraid that like my mom was gonna leave me and like never come back. Same thing with my dad. I don't know why. They never ever gave me any indication towards that, so I don't know where that thought came from. But I would also go around all the time, and I would always like have my hand on my chest, and my mom, like you could literally ask her to this day, she'd be like, why do you have your hand on your chest, like are you okay? And I would literally say, I'm making sure my heart is still beating. Like, obviously it's still beating like I'm talking to her, but at that time I obviously didn't know what was wrong with me. And there would be other things too, like when I was going to school, I was bullied like relentlessly from grades 1 all the way up to high school, until I started to stop giving a fuck what people thought about me and what people said about me. And you know, I'm a very sensitive, soft-hearted person. I've always been like that, and I'm probably always going to be like that. And for a really long time, a lot of people made me feel bad, and that I should change the way that I am, and that I shouldn't be as soft-hearted, I shouldn't be so empathetic, I shouldn't be so compassionate and stuff. And that plays a lot on your mental health too, because when you're so soft-hearted, the things that people are saying about you, like they stick and it hurts. So I would cry a lot when it would come to school, like going to school tomorrow. I loved learning, and that's one of the main things that people didn't understand about me. A lot of teachers talk shit about me, especially in high school, the high school that I went to, because I would miss a lot of time due to my mental illnesses. And they were like, oh, she's just like fucking off, like drinking and partying like every other kid, and like doesn't want to participate in school, doesn't want to put in the work. And that wasn't true at all. That couldn't be any more wrong, honestly. I loved school, I loved learning. I knew all my colors, my alphabet. I could write my name by the time I was 2, so that's pretty good. Like learning always intrigued me, but when these certain obstacles was put in my way, when I was battling with myself, when I didn't even know what I was battling with, was very frustrating being very young, because you don't understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and you can't explain the way you're feeling and why you're feeling the way you're feeling. You just don't feel right. That's the easiest way to put it. And now my little sister Hannah, she's 3, and honest to God, it's like the spitting image of myself. It truly is. I see patterns in her, and I'm hoping and praying to God that she doesn't have anxiety, because it's really not as easy as what people think it is. You know, it takes a lot. Some days it takes everything in me to get out of bed and just go on without my day. When I work in nursing, when I work a 12-hour shift, it literally feels like I work a 24-hour shift. It like drags me out just day-to-day life. It's a lot more strenuous than what it would be for someone who doesn't have a mental illness. And she's doing a lot of the same things that I would do. The hand on the chest, she would complain about her stomach. The other day we took her to the doctor, and the doctor was literally doing nothing, like nothing that was going to be painful, no needles, no nothing, and she wouldn't eat, she wouldn't sleep that night. She woke up that morning, she was crying, like to go to the doctor. Like I just noticed a lot of things in her than what I did in myself. And so that kind of like tapered off. I don't really know what age where that kind of just, that feeling kind of like subsided for a little bit. And I also had body dysmorphia thoughts when I was very young. I remember being like 5 or 6. I was in a picture with my best friend Sarah at the time, and me and Sarah were like the same size, and Sarah was a little bit smaller than me because she was also shorter than me. She was just like a tinier person, a tinier human. And I would look at pictures being like only 5 and 6 and wondering why I'm not as small as she is. And that's fucked up. Like, I shouldn't be thinking about that stuff that young. Like, I should be fucking skinning my knees out from falling off my bike or playing with Barbies or something, other than thinking about stuff like that. And then those also subsided for many years until I was in a very abusive relationship when I was 14. I don't know if I'll ever have the guts enough to make the video that I really want to make about that relationship, but a lot of things happened in that relationship that definitely fucking shouldn't have. Excuse my French for swearing. He would pick on me about my weight and stuff all the time. Now, mind you, I was only like a size 0, and I'm not saying that to be like, I was a size 0. Like, I'm not saying it to be like that. I'm just putting it in perspective. Like, I was tiny. I didn't need to lose weight any way, shape, or form. And that's when the eating disorder thoughts started to come in. That's when the OCD started to come in. That's when the anxiety came back fucking full force. Like, that bitch just kicked the door in, and it all just kind of happened at once, and it was very debilitating. I couldn't go to school. I was hospitalized for my eating disorder. I'm gonna make a separate video about that, because it's kind of like a hard subject to talk about, I'm not gonna lie. Just day-to-day life, like, I found like certain things that my friends could do, I couldn't do, and I didn't know why until I went and seen a psychiatrist and a psychologist, and they said you have generalized anxiety disorder, you also have separation anxiety disorder, OCD, and an eating disorder. I also have, like, I can't remember what it's called. It's like seasonal deficiency order. That's probably not even a fucking thing. I probably botched the name of that. But I get like really depressed in the winter time. Like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to see anybody. And being sick on top of this season, like feeling like this, I'm just like, I have become a hermit because I'm sick, and also like my mental health is shit. So yeah. But you know, I'm trying to be thankful for every day that I have. I'm trying to like come up with healthy coping mechanisms for this. And I'm gonna tell you, it took a really long time for me to find things that worked. I went to a bunch of different counselors that would like suggest different things, and it doesn't work for everybody. Like, the same technique that works for me might not work for you, but it may work for somebody else. So that's another shitty thing about mental illness. It's not just like a, here, you have anxiety, here's a pamphlet, do all these things, and it's gonna go away. It's not like that. Also, there was a lot of things that happened in my life that also contributed to my anxiety, my eating disorder, my OCD, things like that. I think I'm going to make that in a separate video because this is already almost 9 minutes and it's going to be really long. And I also want to tell you about my coping mechanisms before I end this video. I found having a very healthy, small group of friends, very close friends, people who are actually there for you, who are happy for you, who are excited for you when you like accomplish things and stuff. You don't need fucking negativity in your life. If anybody is negative about any aspect in your life, get fucking rid of them. Doesn't matter if they're family, doesn't matter if you've been friends for like 15 years. Bye-bye. You don't need that shit. Having animals, I've always been around animals growing up. I've always had animals growing up, so being around them really helps. I have a dog, Sophie, and I have 2 cats, Leo and Oliver, and let me tell you, there's days that if I didn't have them, I don't know what I would do with myself, especially Sophie. Another thing that I do is, well, I don't do it so much now, which I really should get back into doing, but what I used to do was I would journal how I'm feeling, what happened that day, and kind of why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, to try and pinpoint if there's certain situations that I'm in, like say a party or something. I don't like big crowds. I'm like an extrovert trapped in an introvert's body, if that makes any sense, because of my mental illness. Now don't get me wrong, like I can go down to the club and I can like, you know, get jiggy with it like everybody else, but I can only do it in certain intervals. Like I wouldn't be a person that could go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fucking pop bottles and just like go ham every weekend. I can't handle it. Also, another thing that I stay clear of is alcohol, especially if you're on anti-anxiety medications, antipsychotics. I've personally never been on them, but I do have friends that are on them. Antidepressants, that's another one too that my brain is shit in the bed right now. But you're really not supposed to be drinking alcohol when you're on them, and you're not supposed to be using drugs when you're on them. The only drug that I've ever tried, and I will openly tell you that, is marijuana. I've tried it a couple of times, and it's just not for me. I don't mind if somebody drinks, and I don't mind if somebody smokes, whether that's cigarettes, marijuana, what have you. You know, it's your life, do what you want, but it just personally just doesn't work for me. If anything, it makes my anxiety worse. Another thing that I try to do is, how can I put this into words and show you? There's this one technique that this counselor told me, and I can't remember the name on it, but anytime, for a while, like 2 winters ago, my anxiety got so bad that I was actually housebound. I actually couldn't even leave my room. So I had to slowly try and get out of that. And let me tell you, nobody fucking understands how hard it is to try and get out of that mindset that you're in. It is so, so hard. So what I would do is, when I would even go into a store like Walmart, for example, I would be like panicking. I'd be like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was going to throw up. My anxiety symptoms are also very physical. I always feel like I'm going to throw up. Sometimes I'll get headaches, not very often though, but the big physical symptom that I've noticed is nausea for me. So what she would tell me to do is, that panicky state that you're feeling is just like your body trying to, like, it's fucking going like this back and forth between fight and flight mode. And what she said to do is to get your toes and wiggle them like this in your shoes. And that kind of sends a signal to your brain saying that, like, I'm here. This is the present moment. Nothing bad is going to happen. I have no control over if something bad happens. I only have control over what I can and cannot do. So that really helped me, I gotta say. Even to this day. Sometimes when I have really bad test anxiety, that's another thing I have. The whole time I'm doing exams, my feet are just constantly going in my boots. And it's probably so annoying for the people next to me and behind me that's taking a test with me. But I'm constantly doing that. Another thing that really helps me is my calming jar. I find things like that really soothing. I find yoga, meditating, listening to music really soothing. Taking Sophie for a walk, which is something I haven't been able to do lately because the weather's been fucking shit, is something that really helps me. Eating a well-balanced diet is something that really helps me. I have a lot of like gastrointestinal issues. My stomach hates me along with like every other part of my body. So I learned to have like more so of a plant-based diet. Really helps me. Anytime I eat meat, I love meat, let me tell you. Like I really do. But meat and dairy is one of the hardest things for your body to break down. And I'm lactose intolerant too. So kind of like slowly cutting out meat was kind of easier for me. Now I'm not saying that I'm like vegan or whatever, so nobody fucking chew my head off for that. But I do try to eat more plant-based. I eat lots of fruits, lots of veggies, beans, legumes, nuts, stuff like that. And I find if I have 3 small meals a day, or even just like if I have 1 meal and a couple of snacks throughout the day, it really does improve your mental health. If you're not eating, that also has a huge impact on your mental health. And I found that too with my eating disorder. So yeah, that's just a couple of things that I really like to do. So I hope these little tips helped somebody. They actually helped me. Another thing that really helped me was just watching other people's YouTube videos and reading blog posts about what really helps them. So if you guys like this video, and don't forget to comment and subscribe and comment down below something that helps you. It might help somebody else too. Bye guys.